News with Gina.
The News with Gina Grad.
Although I think it was just Canadian Thanksgiving, a holiday that's not being celebrated, to my knowledge, in Canada, or being acknowledged, is Columbus Day. And down here, it is celebrated, might be the wrong word. So protesters in Portland pulled down statues of Theodore Roosevelt and Abraham Lincoln on Sunday in a night of rage over the Columbus Day holiday. Organizers called the event Indigenous Peoples Day of Rage and sought to protest the holiday named in honor of Christopher Columbus. The crowd used chains and blowtorches to remove the statue of Roosevelt. Why Roosevelt? Well, historians noted he was hostile toward Native Americans. Moments later, they toppled a statue of Lincoln and then smashed windows at the Oregon Historical Society. Unclear whether any arrests were made at this time.
Yeah, a lot of unbridled rage out in the street. And I guess, in terms of toppling statues, anything that's older than 15 minutes is ripe for the picking, right? Because that person did something. There was they either owned a slave or they looked the other way while someone else owned a slave, or they were hostile to the indigenous people. There's not going to be a lot of folks from our history that you couldn't get. It's kind of like, but here's the deal. Me Too is great, except for Al Franken gets chewed up and spit out by Me Too. I think it's like some of these statues, we don't take them all down. Al Franken doesn't have to be destroyed by Me Too. We can give him a slap on the wrist and keep walking. I wonder if people are even. I'll tell you what they need to tear down. They need to tear down that goddamn Kennedy monument that they have in Texas. We talked about that.
Yeah, it's just because you just think it's an eyesore.
It's an eyesore. Yeah, for aesthetic reasons, of course.
They're allowed to rebuild it. They just have to tear it down.
So they had better, more tasteful.
They had a night of rage.
Night of rage
for indigenous people.
Right.
And
on behalf of,
How many indigenous people you think were involved with that night of rage?
Oh, boy.
Less than 10%?
Significantly.
Probably right around there.
The bulk of these people are just cunty 41-year-old blonde chicks that are just running around fucking burning everything down. Is that the night of rage?
It's like Bill Burr said on SNL that the woke movement's been hijacked by white women. So
It has.
If that's to be believed, then there's probably something to be said for your analysis.
I would like see what percentage of study the game film, Dawson. See what percentage of folks were wearing native garb in the night of rage for the indigenous people. I will bet you it'd be hard to pick out many indigenous people in that group.
You know what I'd be okay with, since I don't know that I necessarily have a dog in this fight, even though Columbus seemed to not like the Jews.
Oh, he didn't like the Jews? I
think he was. I mean, we, at least in Hebrew school, we were taught he's pretty anti-Semitic, and
I don't think a lot of his views would fit in with today's, climate.
Yeah, we're Jews not to be part of the colonization process, but from the way we were taught, a lot of the ships to sail were robbed. They would rob the Jews for their jewelry and stuff, and that's how they'd finance a lot of the ships.
Jewelry?
Well, to be fair to him, sailing the open seas in a wooden ship with a Jew, I mean...
A lot of kvetching.
A lot of kvetching and not great deckhands, historically. You know what I mean? Like, you can't go, hey, Jew, tie me a sheep shank and scurry up that main pole, you know?
Fab with that. We're desert people. We're not water people.
Right.
So, but I think, can't we all just agree in 2020 that between the United States of America and the Cook Islands and land all over the world, can we just not say you found it if it was already lived on? Can we just go ahead and say you didn't discover something that people already lived on?
Does reflect kind of a Eurocentric point of view, which had discovered this land.
You can't discover something that's already being used.
Yeah, I feel that should be for the moon, Mars.
Thank you.
I will give that designation. I'm sure.
I think that'd be nice.
Somebody's going to find trouble with that thought 20 years from now. But if you're the first person on the moon, then you may claim it in the name of Spain. But after
even Antarctica, even Everest, if you're the first to literally be somewhere, then by all means, toot your own horn. But easy on America.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree on that. So Twitter is making it harder.
Why don't we think of America as a fixer-upper, and we just kind of came and, gave it some curb appeal.
Oh, okay.
Put down a little sod, killed some Indians.
Oh, Jesus.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just made it a
Perfected
little
the
more.
Poxfield blanket.
Yeah. Allison, you can be too Jewish.
Oh. Yeah, I heard it.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So Twitter's making it harder for tweets to go viral ahead
Wait, did I
of the
call you
election.
Allison?
You did.
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry.
That's all good.
Sorry.
Making it harder
Thinking of
for
Allison
tweets
Rosen, who is very Jewish.
Very Jewish.
He wasn't apologizing for us
No,
saying
I'm not
too
apologizing
Jewish.
for that.
No, I know
Apologizing.
The
exactly.
spirit of the comment.
Wrong Jew.
I know exactly what he was owning up to.
Yes.
To combat the spread of misinformation, it's going to be very difficult, or at least more difficult than you're used to retweet for this upcoming election. The New York Post reports that users who hit the retweet button on a tweet will be taken to a screen where they can add commentary to their retweet. Users can skip the commentary, but that will lead to extra steps to finalize the retweet. So they just don't want people just doing what they're used to and just retweet, and making something that might have misinformation, election misinformation, go viral without at least having to do a little extra footwork.
So you can just put like a smile emoji and then retweet it and it's fine.
Maybe.
But
Yeah,
I guess that's an opinion.
Yeah,
an
exactly.
emoji.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So things like they say, we hope it'll encourage everyone to consider why they're amplifying a tweet. Meanwhile, anyone who attempts to retweet a tweet that's been flagged with misinformation by Twitter will receive a full screen alert telling them that it contains disputed information as well as a link to additional information on the topic. So just to slow down the wave of tweets, especially in election times.
How, I wonder what the vetting process is for a lot of this stuff. Like think about all the COVID stuff,
Yeah.
A lot of data is coming back saying, open the schools. The kids need to go to schools or something. There was a time when maybe that got flagged. But
Right.
How do we decide?
Yeah.
If you take the nation and if you said, all right, we'll just take the nation, and you could pretty much just split them in half. You could split them in half with governors and mayors and scientists and epidemiologists and stuff, and you could find a huge pool of people that were like, got to open the schools, it's hurting the kids, it's healthy, it's safe. Then you could find a huge group of people. It's like, keep it closed down, not safe, not healthy. Yeah. So then who is the arbiter of the who decides which one of those opinions is right?
I don't have that information, but I'm assuming they're probably, I would imagine the algorithm traces it back to the original source. So if it comes from proudboys.com, maybe it gets flagged. If it comes from Antifa.net, it might get flagged. That's a guess of mine.
Yeah, it reminds me. I got a meeting coming up, so if we could just kind of.
Oh yeah. Speaking of pride.
Moving. Yeah.
Coming out day.
Yeah.
Here's something.
To be fair to me, I thought a Proud Boy was a sandwich when I walked into the place. I mean, to be fair.
With fried shrimp and mayonnaise.
Mike August is always fucking talking about it.
Back in New Orleans.
So I saw the sign. I walked in. I was going to get a sandwich. And then I listened for a while. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all.
You came for the sandwich. You stayed for the good advice.
This is some,
provocative
a broken
thought.
clock is
Compelling.
Works twice a day, and it's right twice a day. Anyway, I thought it was a sandwich place, so that's my story.
A priest speaking of Louisiana, a priest in Louisiana was busted recently for having a threesome on the altar of his church with two dominatrixes. All three of them were arrested for obscenity. Oh, it gets even better. 37-year-old Reverend Travis Clark is the pastor of a Catholic church in Pearl River, Louisiana. And he was arrested a few weeks ago after somebody walked by the church at night hearing noises and saw the following. 1, Travis was having a threesome with two women on the altar. 2, he was wearing his priest robes and using adult toys. 3, the women were both dominatrixes. 4, there was...
Hold on. This is all through stained glass? Like, were they...
That's part of why they're in trouble.
They have a fucking nanny cam in there? How'd that person see everything? It's at night. I walk by a church. There's no glass you can see through. How do you?
I may be able to answer that in the next sentence, but not a full answer, but a little bit. There was stage lighting and at least 2 cameras filming.
And
the whole thing was clearly visible from the street.
All the productions are leaving town to go to Louisiana.
Right.
The person took a video, called the police. Travis was arrested on obscenity charges, and so were the two dominatrixes.
He took a video and 25 minutes later called the police.
That's right, when he was in his refractory period.
That's right.
A few days after the arrest, the New Orleans Archdiocese performed a ritual on the altar to restore its sanctity.
What do you do in that ritual? Just
Well, you
Lysol
gotta-
and Kleenex?
Yeah, lots of
No, you have to have
Windex.
sex with a virgin.
Right.
Because
on
these
the
two
altar.
women were the opposite of that.
Right. That's how you undo it.
That's how
And
you undo it.
also, if there are two dominatrices and sex toys, that means the sex toy is being used on the dude, right?
Oh, I like
Right?
that.
Because you don't use sex toys on people dominating you. I don't know.
You don't know?
Very good point.
You don't know?
Maybe you do know.
Sound like you know.
Sounds like you know.
I'm going to do my research tonight, and we'll find out.
You're right. If they in fact are dominatrix,
Right.
you are getting the business end of the dildo, not them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
you get the stinky end.
Very astute.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's right. They'd have to be doing that. And also, if you're the kind of guy who thought that would be a good idea, you'd probably be that guy, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's your lifestyle.
Yeah. Go big or go home.
And this guy was a man of the cloth. I mean, he was,
He was wearing his
certified and
cloth.
bona fide, and
Yeah.
he was all of that.
Yeah. He was wearing his robes, his priestly robes.
Huh. And he was filming this.
Yes.
For
crew,
who?
lighting
You know?
for the rest of us.
And
It was a gift.
And was that his parish? I mean, was he working that? Would he be, if he wasn't caught, would he be up Monday morning, delivering a homily?
It says a 37-year-old Reverend Travis Clark is the pastor of a Catholic church in Pearl River. So I would imagine it's his church. You'd have the keys, to go in after hours.
Oh, he lives there.
No,
It'll be
man.
more understandable to do it at somebody else's church as
Yeah.
like revenge.
It's a bold move.
Yeah.
Like stealing someone's mascot at a football game.
Or like flying over your ex's house in a dirigible and having sex in the basket, in the
Right.
gondola.
Right.
Very elaborate.
We've
Yeah.
all done that. Yeah,
We've
Yeah,
all
for
done
sure.
that.
We can all
Classic
relate.
prank.
Yeah.
Class.
So the ritual was the archbishop. He processed down the aisles of the church, sprinkling the walls with holy water, then anointed the altar with chrism, pouring the oil onto its
Chrism.
surface.
Chrism?
Yeah, it's called chrism.
Is that
The
Chris's jism?
Pouring the oil on its surface and spreading it in his hands.
Oh my.
And then he
feel better
jerked
now?
off. Like what? Like you have to have a higher power priest to jerk off to cleanse your other sins, right?
You sound
Yeah.
like you know a lot about this, Jimmy.
Eye for an eye, a cum shot for a cum shot. I mean, come on.
Guy makes a point.
For chrism's sake. Yeah, that's all just weird. My thing is you know what? I'd light off a couple of holiday foggers. The stuff they use in bad apartments to get rid of
That's right.
roaches. How can you go wrong with a holiday fogger? You know what I mean? You get like
That was for cold.
you get like the 6-pack from Home Depot, and you pull the wick on all of them and just let it sit overnight.
Some real atmosphere.
Put some newspaper down. Get the Swifter out and wipe the place
Yeah.
down the next morning. That'll kill
Yeah.
about anything that's in there.
Also,
Yeah.
they consecrated a new altar at the church, and they ordered the old one removed and ritually burned.
Oh,
You have to.
they
Chris, you say he was
consecrated
an
it?
archbishop?
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
as an archbishop.
From my recollection of the Catholic Church, archbishop's in charge of several churches. Like he's in charge of the archdiocese.
so he had the
might have
janitor
been,
keys.
He may have been scouting for a few months. Like, well, which of these would make a good porno set?
Interesting.
Is he done? Is he fired? I feel like sometimes bishops are like tenured and they don't ever get
That's
fired.
true. But this dude was brought up on charges.
Yeah.
But does that mean he's fired?
Yeah, he might get a new
That's a good
district.
point.
He's going to do some time and then come right back.
Not if you watch Spotlight, it doesn't mean he's fired.
All right. Yeah, another depressing movie.
Yeah.
91.
Hey.
All right, what else we got? So it's like we got to consecrate this altar because it's covered with chrism. This all feels weird and sexual to me.
Yeah,
All right, sorry.
as it should. So this is something that I came across that I thought you would be very interested in, but I'm going to warn you in advance. I don't have the math on it. Please don't ask me. Researchers in Australia report the human body is closing in on the fastest possible marathon time, predicting someone may break the 2-hour mark by 2032. So after building a statistical model for male and female marathon world record year to year, Dr. Angus Johnson estimates the fastest time any living human can run a 26.2-mile race is 1 hour, 58 minutes, and 5 seconds. He predicts the fastest time possible for a female is 2 hours, 5 minutes, 31 seconds.
Why does he hate women?
Yeah. At the current rate in which world records fall, this will be reached sometime in the next 2 decades, he says. So in a normal year, over 800 marathons are run around the world. Fastest time ever that we have for a man is 2 hours, 1 minute, 39 seconds,
Wow.
Kenyan. And a Kenyan woman, 2 hours, 14 minutes, 4 seconds. So I read the article. There's a long mathematic algorithm how they got there, and I thought, I cannot break this down. But the way they figured it, that literally a human being cannot go faster than run this in less than 1 hour, 58 minutes, and 5 seconds.
It is. We don't make enough of it, but if you would like to do a world-class time in the marathon, you're going to have to average under 5 minutes a mile for 26 miles. And if anyone's gone to a junior high track and tried to get around it 4 times in under 6 minutes, it's devastating. You will be vomiting halfway into that. Now, the deal is they run 26 miles faster with an average time that is much faster than you could do 1 mile.
Your best 1 mile.
Your best 1 mile. And I would argue probably your best half mile, if you just doubled up that time, would be better, would be slower than their 26 that they average. I also think women are catching men in the marathon. I don't know that. You know, the best time for a man is 01, 02. Woman is 2:14. It's about 12 minutes and change. But I feels like back in the day it was a half hour off. Jimmy, I got a thought. You tell me. Every year, the winner of the marathon are always the disabled guys in the super wheelchairs. Now they're trikes. They're like a 3-wheel thing. They're made in Germany.
Shaped like a rocket.
Shaped like a rocket. They're made out of carbon fiber and composite stuff. And these guys it's America's Cup on wheels. You know what I mean? These guys are just zooming along at 40 miles an hour. These guys in the wheelchairs, and what they're calling wheelchairs, they're catamarans or trimarans or something, whatever. They're rocket ships. These guys are doing it in like an hour and 10 minutes. Like they are doubling up on the Kenyans on this. I think it's a little out of hand. I feel like they're relying too much on technology. And my suggestion is they have to do it in the old style hospital wheelchairs, like the ones that would push, you know, when your wife has triplets, the one they push her out the door in. Old school, whatever the local hospital is, go get me 8 of those. And you got to go at it.
Or I think just for us, non-wheel people to do it, maybe, they have their rocket ships. That's their advantage. We get to do roids.
Oh,
that will even the playing field.
I don't know that roids help. I think in that particular sport, roids don't help, but juicing would, like recovery and all that.
Yeah, doping, whatever.
What is the time for the fastest marathon on wheels? Jimmy O's got to punch out in a second.
I have 1 hour, 20 minutes.
1 hour,
14.
20 minutes.
Wow.
So those guys are drunk at an Applebee's across from the finish line when the Kenyans roll in. Mm-hmm. And they get to yawn and look at their watch and go, oh, that's cute.
What's the holdup?
Yeah, I thought we were going to meet at the Applebee's at noon. What? Jesus Christ. Oh, okay. Is this? Were we in the same race? Excuse me, I'm confused. Wait. Okay, because I stepped on a bouncing Betty in Vietnam. But evidently hasn't slowed me down. You know?
If anything.
If anything. And I'm just trying to avoid those kind of awkward conversations.
Makes sense.
And that's the only way we can do it.
Good looking out.
JimmyOYang, everybody. The opening act out in theaters, VOD, and digital this Friday, October 16th. Filled with every comedian but me is in this movie. And
it's a shorter list when you say it that way.
hold on, Jim Carolla and Chris Carolla. You put my parents in this movie?
Sonny Carolla?
Whitney Cummings, Chris Carolla, Sonny Carolla, Jim Carolla, Liza Schlesinger. Jesus Christ. Again, the opening act, it is coming out this Friday. And we'll get Steve on here, who's just right. And we'll bring him in and talk to him soon about this triumph. Good to see you, my friend.
Great seeing you guys.
The great JimmyOYang. Oh, and I'm going to definitely give his stand-up special a plug, too. Good deal. It's available now on Amazon Prime Video. Let's do one more, Gina Grad.
All right. Let's see. Well, let's do this since it's holiday season. And even I'm surprised editorially at the basicness of the top 10 costumes being searched on Google. They come out with this list every year. And I really thought, with everything going on in the news, there'd be a little more variety. But if you take a wild guess at one of the top 10 things, I promise you'll get one. Halloween costumes being searched right now.
These are adult costumes?
I think it's just in general.
I assume a Trump costume is up there.
No, it is not.
What about
more basic? Basic.
There's more basic than that.
Did Tiger King, that movie, that series, is that out this year?
Yes, it is. Think just broad
cop, nurse,
nouns. Okay, I'll tell you. So this is the top 10 list. I'll speed through it because in a time where we have sexy ballot and things like, these crazy things, we have Spider-Man, Ninja, Devil, Fortnite in general, Angel, Clown, Rabbit, Harley Quinn, and Dinosaur. People are not feeling very creative right now, and who can blame them?
Harley Quinn is the new I look hot in tight shorts outfit, but I need
I'm
a
all
good
in favor
reason.
of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in favor of the Harley Quinn costumes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the ultimate workout dude, shaved chest guy is Baby. When the guy just puts the diaper on and has the thing, and it's really just him showing the pecs and the deltoids off all party.
Right. Yes.
And it's always sad because traditionally it's fucking cold outside on Halloween, and the guy who goes as Baby is literally just wearing a loincloth the entire time.
And he can cut glass walking around like that.
Yeah. Put an eye out.
So Halloween, are people trick or treating? Or is it allowed?
That's what we can't figure out now that they went from banning it to do your thing.
I saw a headline that is discouraged.
That's the thing, but we don't condone it. So that's when I'm like, well, what are we going to do with a 5-year-old? Get them all dressed up, get them all excited, and then just see if anybody puts their light on? It's sad.
Did people, Max Pata, the Lakers won the championship yesterday as we taped this. Did people take to the streets and get out and get busy out there?
Yes, they did.
Oh,
I think Jeff will probably get into that.
Oh, okay. So maybe we'll save that for Jeff. But
they sure did.
All right. Well, nothing you can do about that. All right. Let's bring it home, Gina.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
Gina Grad. That was the news with Gina Grad.